Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Max and the Curse of Brotherhood. Let's continue. Another level. We're now in the jungle area with promises of our ability to be increased. This is the first time we've had to use this ability to move a log again. This was kind of the very first tutorial thing we did before. So either the idea would be that we are in a new act and there would have been some thought that maybe you could have skipped to this section, which I don't think you really could have, or they're reinvesting. Boy, that was wonky. Let's try that again and see what happens there. It seems almost like something loads as you walk in front of this tree. By modern standards, there's not that much visual graphics happening here that there should be any weirdness with the visuals. But
whoa, close.
I guess the idea might be that they reintroduce.
These traps were set up to stop Mustachio's beast. They did not work.
I don't know who set them up though. We haven't seen anybody other than the old lady who was actively on our side or helpful. If they're reinvesting in us having an understanding of some basics, then I wonder if, come on, I wonder if we'll fairly quickly get new abilities. So this once again feels a lot like our Prince of Persia trap, where you're pretty much just going to have to die before you can actually find the right path. And I suppose if they're keeping it fairly limited here, where there really is only 3 or 4 things that you can actually collect per level, then that keeps the number of these death traps somewhat limited. It's still not really my preferred style of game by any means. I do feel like I may not actually make this jump. This is a somewhat negative style of gameplay where you ideally, in my opinion, I guess those little frogs don't actually blow up like the other ones. They just apparently jump and try and attack you. Which arguably we should just confirm that. Well, at least now we know. Ideally, you would want more near deaths and no actual deaths throughout the course of this game, particularly when you're trying to make it be a kid-friendly game, because it does feel fairly kid-friendly otherwise. Like, in fact, it's a very, very different experience if you were to never die even once in this game compared to what the average player will almost certainly experience, which is many, many deaths. This is interesting because we're effectively being introduced into a temple and or the kind of Prince of Persia alcoves that we'd seen before. Can we jump down? Yes, we can. And this is a point reminding us that we did see that point where you could, where plants would appear out of nowhere, and see how they have a tutorial here to tell you the question I just asked. So maybe we will get a new ability to create life from any spot instead of just pillars of earth coming up. And then they're kind of reminding us that there's some crawling. And so it does seem like it's going to be earth, and then plants / life, and then water. Might be a little stuck, as it were, on getting to that plant. I mean, that eyeball. That, or we'll just have to go back and get it later. It's a very spooky skull we have in front of the statue.
Pleasantly, the force of the woods now dwell within your weapon.
Alright.
Go on, create a branch and climb it.
So it seems like there is a start point, and whatever that start point is leads to the next thing. I do have to kind of question, though, if there really is that much of a difference here. In gameplay mechanics, or if these different concepts really could even synergize particularly well. Again, this screams Nintendo DS Wii level of concepts and gimmicks, and it definitely does feel like there was just a specific spot where, notice how that you could make that branch a lot longer. It feels like there was definitely a specific time in which some game companies were effectively aiming and shooting to be on the Nintendo Switch or DS or the Wii, and they just failed to actually either launch or release it on that console, or they got a better offer just in general, and ended up on some of the other consoles. There's another instance very much of the camera having a kind of set position as to where it thinks the start point would be.
Branches you detach can be pushed around.
Alright. So it is slightly different. They don't just crumble.
Whoa. All right.
But I'll have to be better, I think. There's gotta be some kind of secret down here.
Whoa.
So are we relatively safe there? Well, the collectible's up here, so let's get that first. Well, interesting how that knocked me down and yet didn't. That didn't, like, kill me. Alright. So one would assume that as soon as you start to draw a new one, that's that for that branch. And that does seem to be the case. Just make a right angle to get around. Get up there. And so my only hope is a very late jump would get me up to that point. And it did. Yeah, it feels like we're really doing puzzle platforming now.
Nice job, Max.
Alright. Alright. Unless there's something I'm supposed to do there. Oh, I hope I got the secret. I did. Well, that does put you in a weird position because it could be that there's an evil eye there and there's something I need to do more. Or it could just be that that's an enemy that can't be defeated with my current state of abilities. And I think, somewhat forced to just assume that it's an enemy I can't defeat with my current state of abilities. And by moving forward and taking that risk, I have succeeded in proving myself right there. Because here is the evil eye. Which honestly I should have been more confident about that anyways, because I was about to fall to my death as I was pulling that. And I still fell to my death, but whatever. So we now know we've gotten all the evil eyes. That does fairly inform me that that flower probably doesn't lead to some super secret thing or anything that I really need to be concerned about. It definitely feels like there could be a level of a difficulty spike in this game where we just get to a region where it wants me to do a jump or a run that I'm just not capable of doing. But I also suspect we probably won't run into that problem because I think the game is going to be short enough that that's not going to happen. I guess can't go back that way. I don't feel like at the moment there would be a real reason to go back to the previous levels and replay them with some hope of getting collectibles or that may have been missed that could have only potentially been collected with a newer ability. Like, but it certainly is possible. There's a level of triple jumps that seem like are required, or there seems to be a kind of minimal amount of triple jumps that you can actually do. Like, so it does kind of seem like you can't quite get to where you want to go. So it does kind of feel like 45-degree angle is about the best you can do. And getting stuck under it seems like something that can happen fairly easily. And at a 45-degree angle, the game does not seem to believe you can grab and climb over. Well, it certainly makes sense why you don't just die when you're getting crushed by these plants, because that would be a nightmare. Interesting. The game has decided to just tell me exactly what to do and make a S-shaped or a number 5 shaped ladder, which obviously that shows that there was a pain point there for some players, including me, in just not really getting that they're going to emphasize that quite a bit. Was that max humming? I guess it was. So if anything, it feels like that was a level designed specifically to... Like, it feels like it was designed specifically to remind you that the other abilities still exist. And this will be, I guess, a point where we are going to start a chase sequence. The problem is we're running into, like, now the Sonic problem, in which you have to know what's to the right of the screen before you even reach the right of the screen. Like this platform here does not show that platform.
See? Told you so.
Well, I made it there, but I don't know if I should have made it. Let's see, I feel like I may accidentally be missing an eye. Yes, I am. Okay. So I need to draw. Well, I can't draw, can I? Alright. When that falls into the spiky brambles, that gets destroyed. Nope, not quite. Alright. And again, we'll just triple jump to avoid falling to our death. Okay. So now we've got a guy throwing grenades. And so the general idea, I think, here is to just get the grenade to bounce back and hit this guy. Not quite there. That's one down.
Really stupid.
There's always a level of weirdness, certainly in kids' games, when the kids are calling people stupid or not, because there definitely are parents that are totally not happy with that, with insulting words, any insulting word being used at all. And then there are some parents that don't care. More and more, I think, parents are starting to care. And certainly, there's an age difference there too. It's a lot more natural to tell a 5 or 6 year old to say don't say stupid than it is to say an 18-year-old. Which I would definitely say this is a game probably more for 5 and 6 year olds.
What now?
Okay.
I could just make the branch roll. Maybe if I draw it like a hula hoop.
See if that rolls. And I guess that does introduce an idea. This is going to be a tight shot because I didn't draw it quite round enough. That gets back to the idea of the square rock in the first act not really being round, and then there being a puzzle to have you think of it as round. The danger here, of course, is that it does feel like there might be something up here. And if I'm gonna get it, I'm gonna have to probably make a little bit more of a ledge. Seriously? Nothing here and no achievement for being here. Yeah.
What to do here? If I could just make the branch roll. Maybe if I draw it like a hula hoop.
Interesting. It seems like you can really only go one direction, too. Like one direction it will spring and roll. And that is a way easier jump to make this time.
All right.
Well, that almost certainly in that upper area was an area where there could have at one time been a collectible, and I see instead there's an eye down here that they make little sound effects. Oh, we're more zoomed out now so we can see what the goal here is.
Whoa. Uh-oh. Sorry.
And that's the end of that guy. And we have yet another eyeball. Although we've missed one. According to this. So if we don't get any kind of level select and we have to play the whole game a second time, that's would be really unfortunate, because at this point loading the last checkpoint probably isn't going to help you. You'd have to restart the whole level and start over from the beginning again, and I don't think that's probably worth it either. Like most achievements, there's probably an achievement for getting 100% of everything, and you really have to just play through the main game and see if you're actually even enjoying the main game enough that you would possibly want to play a second time, or a little bit more for the achievements. Well, okay, that gets me there, but then that's not far enough. Alright. So best case scenario, you would just try and jump. Sneakily, there is a green leaf over here, but that is not being considered. And not interactable.
What now?
Okay. So you go as long as you can this way, break it. Go this way, jump, make it. Then if you just wanted to finish the story, you would go down that way.
What to do here?
Okay. This is very much gonna lean into how much you think. Interesting, it broke it. I think it comes down to just how much you think you can survive a fall. Is that safe?
Another piece. Well done.
It's funny how the color on these vines change from brown to green, seemingly because of just their area or their ambient light around them. Alright, let's try that again. This might very well be a case where you had to always run or it would tilt into you, and I just didn't find that. This level is going to take longer. You can't just erase things. So it does feel like you're going to have to do something more to come back around. Yeah, it feels like a giant boulder is going to come back and knock this over. Okay. Am I safe if I destroy this? Am I just safe if I destroy this? This is one of those cutscenes that probably should have checkpointed after the fact. That's another time slowdown mechanism. So I just needed to be on the other side. Okay. Then I need to be here. And bring that back up. Didn't die from that. Just fell. Although it does definitely feel like you could die from the fall. There's something weird. I think there's something more to the puzzle there. Yeah. Oddly, the rope was swinging a lot more that second time. Or third time.
Be gone.
Another one?
Interesting that we've triggered a cutscene there where we are at about a third of the ways done. And the checkpoint still is this point, but the collectibles will still be saved. That does create an interesting save state issue in games where all progress is saved, even if storyline progress is reverted back to. I don't know where he is. So I imagine I'll get chased a little bit more, and there's a little bit more of a sequence here. And then that'll be it for this episode. This one being a somewhat longer episode. Alright. Is that enough height to get us up the ledge? Doesn't really feel like it is. Have to go for more of a triangle shape instead. There's our last eyeball. So we see it, but it does seem like more often than not we will end up having to go back to get these eyeballs. Alright. So there's a prison cage, it looks like. There's a box. And so then the question becomes, I guess the question comes down to, what are we going to do with the box? Very basic things in almost every puzzle platforming game. You usually have a box, you usually have a ball. Okay. It's not so common that you have the ability to create pillars out of the ground or vines out of the ground. You're gonna have to be careful as far as the speed on this, because you're gonna have to get them to chase you and then destroy it. You're not going to be given a lot of opportunity. Right, so you seemingly have to have both parties in the cage, and I think you probably have to have a level of safety to not accidentally raise the cage a second time after that. Which that means there is a bit of a pain point here, kind of a difficulty spike, where you're going to have to run close but not too close to the characters. I suppose it's fair to say that my computer, I did leave it running for several hours and did not run into any problems so far. So that really could have just been a random thing. Or it could be that more problems appear. If I don't mention any problems, then assume there are no problems. There definitely is a case here where this is not being run at a modern Windows 10 video resolution, and it is using an older DirectX 8 or DirectX 9 interface at a lower resolution than what is normal. So 720p, 480p, something like that. I wouldn't be surprised. I would be very surprised if it was lower than 480p.
You are headed towards Father Oak. He is not easily climbed, but once you reach his top, your weapon will be even more powerful.
When you have multiple monitors like me, like I do, and a game decides to be at a lower resolution, it pushes the other monitors to the side and just nudges everything in a weird way. So it's very obvious when you have multiple monitors, but for most people, if you have only a single monitor, you wouldn't ever be able to particularly tell, since it is just taking up the full screen of the single monitor. Anyways, we went 40 minutes this time because we did 2 levels, and we are going to potentially be in that mushy middle where 2 levels is going to be slightly too much for a 30-minute episode, and 1 level is going to be far too little for a 30-minute episode. And so these episodes may just get longer and longer. Inherently, that seems to happen in almost all the footage I record. That's going to be it for this recording, though. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wish list. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.